26th. If everybody had a chance to look at that, just need a motion and a second to approve.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item 3, we're going to turn this over to Chris, and we're going to talk about the contract. If you've all had a chance to look at it and you're good with it, we'll just have to make a motion in a second on that. But Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that just joined us a couple minutes ago, I'd like to introduce Miss Donna Miller from IGRAD. We asked her to join in case any of y'all did have some questions about the contracts. Per the last meeting, we did send those out right after for y'all to review and look and formulate any questions. So I had a couple of general questions myself, but before I went ahead, I was going to invite any of you all to pose yours. Okay.
Wait,
Donna,
we have one. Wait, Susanna?
Oh, okay.
Great, thank you. Hello, Donna. I appreciate this. So if this is for either Chris or Donna, just actually a couple of items for clarification. Unfortunately, I was not at the meeting. My designee was last month or last time we met, but just kind of curious about security protocols around the service itself, because it appears that once it's launched, there's a lot of external links to third parties, other activities, other businesses, and that kind of makes me nervous from a risk standpoint to ensure what type of controls we have from a cyber risk situation, even though it may not be that somebody's data or information is going to be compromised. Yep. I just feel like that opens us up to a lot of exposure. We're not just dealing with IGRAD, but multiple layers of users.
Yeah, no, totally fair question. And thank you for that. And please, this is like really important because we don't link out. You will have your own branded platform for Arkansas Financial Wellness, and it will not ever take them off the platform except for in one instance, and that would be with Equifax. So that is if the person selects to utilize that resource. Outside of that, and we have our full trust report, Susanna, I would love to send you a link to that so you can really review like our SOC 2 and all of our encryption policies and the fact that we don't sell or share data. Also, all they need to create an account is a name, an email address, and a password. And granted, that is private information, but we never ask them outside of that for like an account number or a social, and anything else is disclosed. Like say they're filling out a budget worksheet, they would self, it's self-directed. They would put in their income, they would put in their expenses, and even in reporting, the Treasury would see aggregates of who created an account, and if even individuals, if they've created a budget, if they updated their budget, you will not see their line items. So we do take their privacy very seriously, but I'd be happy to send you their like the SOC 2 and things like that.
Well, the fact that you all have that reference, I know what SOC 2 is, so I'm very good, comfortable with that. I guess I was just looking on the Exhibit A, like under the call to action package and the engagement package. It just, as I read it, just referenced that links may be.
Great. And again, great question, because the calls to action are hopefully to activities. We want you to tell us where you want those to be called to action. So say they take the course on, let's just see here, career, advancing my career. And you can have a link if Arkansas, the state, has an internal resource. You can link them out to your resources, but that would be your choice. We would never take them off the platform. We would only take them where you want them to go. That's the kind of action we want to call them to, or to a food bank. Say they're reading an article about food insecurity right now, and they're trying to find out, you can link them to resources that are within the state, food banks, food pantries, resources that are available to particular income stratas, et cetera. So great questions though.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. That makes it a little more clear because it made it sound like you all would automatically
Mm-mm.
direct them off-site. So,
Nope.
um,
Thank you.
and if you don't mind, one more.
Sure, please.
I was just a little curious about other states or other programs that you all have experience with. And what I'm thinking about is the likelihood that we may exceed the 1,000 users, which would be wonderful. But then the $9 per user after that, it gives me a little panic, quite frankly, on
Yeah.
cost.
No problem at all. And honestly, this is not, I always say, this is not something that people are, jumping out of bed to check the scores or check the market. We wish it was. We wish you would blow that 1,000 right out of the water. And thank you so much for that. But it's been our experience that that's a great goal for the first couple of years. And the way the active user is, how often they're coming back. So it's really going to depend on the level of promotion and outreach, but we felt like that was a very safe number, not to exceed or create any, because we participated with the NAST program for a long time. I know you're familiar with that. So the National Association of State Treasurers, and we looked at all of their usage for the first year and years 1 and year 2, because it's something that is momentum is built. So we feel like that you're very safe with that number.
And Donna,
Thank you.
it's my understanding that we can also just cap it at 1,000.
Absolutely.
Right. Once
Yes.
the 1,000 and first user tries
Cap
to register, it won't let them. So
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Thank you very much.
Sir, that's a great questions. Thank you.
I
Could
too
avoid-
think that, so that could be a concern if since you said 13-year-olds plus could use it, I could see where teachers might take advantage of using it. The problem that we get hit with all the time though, Susanna, that was a good question, is even some of our competitions that require no student data collection, all the Student Data Privacy Acts with recent legislation in our state really causes teachers to pause. So so I'm sure those were good questions.
Great questions. And when anyone ever logs in, immediately what pops up is our privacy policy and our terms of service. And it's very black and white in there that we do not collect the data. We do not sell or share the data. We are not going to advertise any products or services outside of pure education. And we're not a fiduciary. We will never give advice. We will give options. So if someone comes in and says that, they're not sure if they should buy or lease a car, we provide resources and tools to help them ask, like, what questions to ask themselves, and some historical data on who's a better candidate for either. But at the end of the day, they all have, strengths, weaknesses, challenges, positives, negatives, and we let them make that decision.
it's not sponsored content and for any of it. So
Yeah.
I had a question about ADA compliance
Yep.
on some of the modules and everything like that. What is that looking like?
Certainly, and I'm going to pull that up, and only because I wanted to say one more thing about the high schools. One thing I'll let you know, Marcia, and everyone, is that we literally work with credit unions in Kentucky that have utilized our platform to respond to RFPs and have won to be state chosen platforms, and we're also working in Illinois right now with a bank that literally has gone into their local school districts for the new high school requirements. So now new states have high school requirements, personal finance is part of that. So we're super careful. Okay. And all right, Scott, now to the ADA, because I am not an expert. I could throw some verbiage around like SOC 2 and things like that, but I know enough to be dangerous. So I am just going to show you the document that I pulled up prior. Oh, okay, that is not it. Hold on. Gotta move my menu here. Okay, accessibility. So here's what we have. We have, fully ADA compliant, fully mobile optimized. But when it comes to accessibility, to meet the accessibility standards, so again, enough to be dangerous. So if I don't really speak this language, I just know that we are continually going through compliance testing, CAG, accessibility.
yeah.
Is that helpful?
No, that is helpful. Thank
Good.
you. for
Sure,
the reminder
sure.
That was in there. And then my last question, kind of exploring some ideas on how we could use this platform with other programs. The ability to, for a user to print off a certificate of completion, can we plug that requirement into any of the modules that we selected? Because I think, if there was like a CSA program out there that wanted to implement or incentivize some family member of a participant to complete one of the courses or multiple courses, I wanted to make sure that we could pick those courses and require a certificate to be printed off, and then that participant or user could email those to whoever they need to.
Absolutely. So there's a few different ways, but I think the simplest way is you would select the courses. We can call it something like, it could be the CSA course, or you could select a few courses, but every single course already has in it a certificate. And at the end, they would just print it. It'll say print to PDF. Then they could save it, upload it, and send it to you as a completed record. But every single course has a certificate already.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Abby?
Built right in. Abby?
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Sometimes Teams and my microphone. One question I had, and Donna, you mentioned this earlier, but if we could revisit it, talk again about how young participants can be. Did you say 13? Is that like 7th grade? And
It's written on a 7th grade reading level, and I think 13 is 7th grade.
okay, about that age. And is, as part of Enrich's work, are there plans to go to 6th grade, or, and my second question was, is it also in Spanish?
Great questions. We're always toying with the idea with going younger. Right now, it would be a huge undertaking. So I'm not going to say, it's not in the roadmap for the next 6 months. I know that, like within 2025. That's not to say that it might not be in 2026's roadmap. So currently, I'm not going to say that that is in our current roadmap. English and Spanish, absolutely everything. All the text, all the closed captions, all the transcripts, but for full disclosure, the audio in our videos is still in English. But do you want to see how quick it is they can switch from one to one, or no? No. Okay. Yeah. It's by user basis. All they have to do is click English or Spanish. And if there's ever an interest, like if there's a high concentration of another language, we do offer 58 other languages. So we partnered with Virgin Pulse about, 10 years ago. They're Personify Health now, but they are international. So we really needed to create regionalized content as well as have it available in many other languages. And again, it's important for the individual, just to assume that someone's living internationally. It's not, we can't assume that they're speaking that language or it's their first language. So just food for thought.
Did anybody else have any other questions for Ms. Miller?
Thank you. Great questions.
All right. Well,
We need a motion.
oh yeah. All right, no other discussions. Entertain a motion in a second to approve the contract.
Don't look at me. I'll motion
I'm looking
it.
at it's everybody's on.
Only kidding.
I'll make the motion.
All right.
A second.
We have a motion
Thank you
and
so much.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
All right, motion carries.
Grateful. I guess I'll leave you to it.
Yeah,
Get
thank
outta
you,
here.
Donna.
Thank you all so
Greatly
much. And
appreciate your
please
time.
let me know if you ever need anything, anybody, right? Take care. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Chris, if you want to go over the virtual meeting policy, I think we'll need to approve that. If you have
Yeah,
anything to share.
absolutely. So good news, currently everybody in this meeting is following the new state policy. So This policy is simply to comply with Act 505 of 2025. We sent that policy out to you all early last week, I believe, for your review. Just outlining what's kind of expected for in-person, virtual, or hybrid attendance for any meetings. Public will have access, and videos will need to be on to be counted. So unless anybody has any questions, Treasurer, we would just need a motion to approve that policy to be in compliance.
I make a motion.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. New business. Commissioners, do you have anything?
No, but would you just remind us what the time frame is then on when would we be expected to see this program? Chris, can you remind me?
Yeah, so I believe our contacts at Enrich and IGRAD, they had previously stated anywhere from like a 3 to 6 month build time. It just kind of depends on everybody's availability. For the most part, it's just kind of co-branding the existing platform. They have their cookie cutter template, and we'll go in and brand it, review any materials that or modules that we may not want to have included at launch, kick around some ideas of how we could include new modules. I would definitely, lean for y'all's input on that. If you all identify something that isn't on their menu, so to speak, that would be beneficial, we can discuss that.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
One more. So sorry, Treasurer.
Oh, you're
Chris,
fine.
I think y'all probably talked about this at the last meeting, and I didn't with Dawn on the phone. I didn't want to ask her directly, but our funding for this,
Mhm.
I just curious where's that? Our $10,000 for the first year and 14. I'm just curious. I don't think I recall where that would be coming from.
Absolutely. So we currently have the $15,000 that was awarded to us from the grant at Walmart.
Okay, I figured that.
Yeah, that's sitting in our bank account right now. So, upon the execution of the contract, we would, send over the $10,000 required of that for year one. And then, we were invited to reapply again for that same grant next year, pending results of year one. So that'll provide the funding for year two. And there's clauses in that contract that I saw, that it basically just said, everybody understands we have to have the money to spend the money, and we don't have it, then the program would be shuttered. So
Yeah, great. And I think that kind of dovetails into why I was curious about the exceeding 1,000 users and how quickly we can get ourselves in a financial bind. So I appreciate all that.
I wanted to cap it at 1,000 to avoid that problem altogether.
Thank you.
Is there a point when if someone is inactive or sets up an account and doesn't use it, like they would be unenrolled so that they're not taking up a space of someone, or it just, once you set it up, you could just have it regardless?
I believe that's going to be part of the build process that I go through with them, in any kind of decisions like that. I would speak with our staff internally first, and then come to y'all with something.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
No moved.
Thank you, Steve. All right. You all have a great day. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Okay, you
See
too.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.